Nice. We are live.
Hello, Ross.
Hi,
We're
Jim.
live.
Yep, we are
Good.
live.
Good. It's a great pleasure to be now live with our new webinar series about the product that we're launching. But before we're gonna start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Deyev. I'm CEO and founder at Stobox, the company that for the last 8 years is focusing on real-world assets and asset tokenization. And here with me, our co-founder and chief operating officer, Ross Shemeliak.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hi,
hey.
Jim. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the
Yes,
introduction.
yes, and it's a great pleasure to be here. This is the first series of our webinars that are focused on our new product that is called Stobox Compass. We will be very happy to share what's inside. This product and our webinar series are mostly focused on the business side of tokenization. We certainly understand and we know the specifics of the market. We've prepared several solutions for the market to make sure that our business customers and businesses around the world who are looking forward to tokenize their asset, and we know that tokenization is becoming an exponential primitive. We are happy to allocate our time and show you the product, and we're going to do it every week. So you're going to be able to join the webinar as today or view it on our official Stobox channels like YouTube and LinkedIn. This video is also streamed there as well. And um, let's kick off.
Exactly. Yeah. So we need to comply with the current global agenda with their AI. That's why through these webinar sessions, we are launching our new product, Stobox Compass, and we'll dive into their nuances very soon. But their global goal it is to provide their value for our clients, for the issuers and investors in RWA and tokenization with some more modern approach that better fits current digital era.
Absolutely. And before we continue, I would like to mention that our webinar will consist of two major parts. Um, is the presentation that we're going to show you and the product itself. So we're going to go through the screencast of the product. They're going to show you what are the features, functionalities, what it's for. So you'll be able to register. And by the way, you can register now. You can go on app.stobox.io or simply stobox.io and you find the button register, and it's simply free at the moment. So let's kick off, and I would like to just briefly highlight what is Stobox and what have we done so far. We, as a company, as a team, we have started our journey in 2018. Back then, nobody spoke about tokenized assets. Nobody spoke about tokenized securities. No one actually envisioned stable coins being regulated on the national level in the United States. Nobody envisioned BlackRock issuing tokenized securities on the public blockchain of Ethereum. So back then it was just a concept, and we are following the market and actually participating and actively working in the market since the inception of this new interesting domain. And since then, we have engaged with more than 100 clients from different jurisdictions, from different industries, with a different approach that we're looking forward and are looking forward to tokenize, to leverage this new technology, leverage this new way of not only fundraising but bringing efficiency into the traditional capital. And also, just to be clear, we are focusing on tokenizing of private capital, so small, medium enterprises, somebody that has less ability to raise funds, and so expose yourself globally. So we build the technology and the infrastructure for a local company to become a global company without going public. So that's what we have been doing since 2018. We are currently not operating, but working with more than 20 jurisdictions where our issuers can create assets, can legally establish themselves. There's already more than 20 jurisdictions that comply with a full narrative of real world assets. Since the beginning, we've tokenized more than $500 million of tokenized securities, again, of different classes. There were bigger clients, smaller clients, some were successful, some were not successful, but it is what it is. And our main job here is to bring efficiency, perfect knowledge, and the products as the result in our tokenization suite of services. And our goal is to make sure this process is very efficient, cost efficient, and time efficient. And we're actually doing a great job as we shrink the tokenization process with legal, with compliance, with regulations, with technology, to something like 8 to 12 weeks. So if you're looking forward to tokenize your asset, this would be estimate timeline from the conceptual part to basically going live. So that's a great job, and we are committed to continue in this direction. Ross, would you like to add anything here? We cannot
Everything
hear
is
you.
clear. Everything is clear. You're completely right. So we have been like 8 years in the market, and it is our main expertise, tokenization. And now our main goal it is to remove their obstacles for the private capital, for the private businesses, and help them enter their tokenization. That's why we are expanding. That's why we're launching the new product, Stobox Compass. And that's why by the end of this webinar, you will perfectly understand what is tokenization, what is Stobox Compass, how you can, for free, make your own project assessment and start building your project. Yep.
Yeah. So by speaking to a lot of clients that approach tokenization, and by analyzing clients of alternative platforms, alternative tokenization companies, we do realize that tokenization fails. Tokenization fails, but not on the technology level. Tokenization fails on the non-technology levels, or on the other part, because tokenization is a complex process where we have to take care of legal nuances, we have to take care of regulations, compliance, technology, financial, and so on. And we're witnessing that most of the businesses that approach us lack this understanding, lacks the strategy, and lacks this profoundness that actually makes the asset, tokenized asset, worth the investor they're looking in. So most of the problems coming from choosing a wrong jurisdiction, or applying to the wrong licensing, or applying to the wrong hubs, financial hubs, in order to issue a tokenized vehicle. Something, sometimes it's over complicated. Sometimes they're not taking care of this process. So it's a very important element is to choose a right jurisdiction. And we see that in many cases is lacking. People are looking just to create a DAO and then issue a tokenized bond on top of it, which is not sometimes the best idea. The next point that we obviously highlight here as a problem is the problem in documentation. Because when a company is preparing to issue a tokenized asset, this asset has to be, as well as in a traditional finance, traditional fundraising, there should be a certain level of sophisticated documentation that goes along with the asset. For example, over the company, for example, we're talking about business plans. We're talking about 3 years financial reporting. We're talking about valuation, projections, financial in general information. And it's not only financial. If a company approaches, for example, a US broker dealer, we will be talking about roughly 38 different documents that a business has to prepare in order to offer a product that is worth offering, right? So we see that as a big gap, and our product and our approach mitigates that gap and ensures the smooth process and the clearness for businesses to actually mitigate that risk and make sure that the process of document preparation becoming an easy, understandable process rather than a house. And we see that as one of the biggest problems. And the final part is the distribution, because we see most of the assets, even if they're tokenized, they don't attract sufficient investor interest. And there's also reason for that. As I already said, some of the reasons refer to the absence of the sufficient documentation, sufficient reporting, insufficient disclaimer information, but also the distribution channel from the regulated brokerage activity. Still, a number of issuers that contact us think that they can create a company and start targeting, let's say, EU public investors without any registered prospectus or any regulated documentation, and obviously that doesn't work. So for a lot of assets, it's not about just tokenizing or going on the platform and make sure you have a token. Nobody cares about your token, but what investors do care is that they hold a digital right of the business that is clearly transparent from investor standpoint. They want to know what are they purchasing, what are the rights, what are the privileges, and so on, how they can liquidate it, what are the expectations. So it's not just about the token, but it's about what is wrapped in the token. So this is the problems that we're going to address today, and not only today, but we are addressing them in a form of the product that we're going to show you. I think I can move to the next slide. And we say that Stobox Compass is the processual backbone of tokenization for businesses. Is the platform, is the system where any business, starting from a small to more mature, even transcontinental companies, even bigger companies, find a clear path and a clear methodology of what has to be done, what has to be performed in order to proceed with a full readiness to tokenize the asset. And here it says company turns those 100 decisions into sequenced workflow. And again, when you tokenize a business, it's not about it's not only about what blockchain are you using, it's not only about what token standard are you using, because most of the investors have no idea what is the smart contracts do, what is on the ground, nobody cares if it's ERC20 or ERC1400. Nobody understands this. But what people do understand, what issuers have to understand, is that through the process of tokenization or throughout the process, they will have to make hundreds of different decisions that will impact the quality, the process, the result, and obviously the costing of their tokenization process in general. And it's not only us. Throughout our journey, we have developed our network of providers, partners, people, and the companies that we can rely on. And we have established a relationship with companies from various industries, let's put it this way, that are complementary to tokenization. And when we hear it says legal counsel, right? So we don't understand that it's impossible to proceed with tokenization without having a legal counsel on board, without having a proper distribution channel, without understanding whether or not you need a custody or a self-custodial system, the identity part, the audits of the smart contracts, if and when they're necessary, if the asset requires a rating, what sort of rating, and so on. So we are among a vast group of companies. We're not showing here logos. They are. You can go on our website, stobox.io, and check the partners, check the history, check all of the information. We have recently updated our website. It's beautifully done. You can go find every information there about our partners. And I want to highlight that tokenization is a complex process that not only depend on the tokenization platform. I would say it's least depend on the tokenization platform than on the complementary services, financials, legal, compliance team working together to make sure that the business ends up having a qualified premium quality tokenized asset that it can distribute through the registered broker dealers or through alternative marketing channels in a compliant, proper way. And here we come to the next slide about the Compass itself. Again, after this part of the presentation, I'll go through the product and show how everything works. But in the meantime, it's live. So again, you can go on stobox.io/register and register your account now. We are providing 7 days free trial for both professional accounts and business accounts. So if you are a business and you're looking forward to start tokenization and you don't know where to start, how to start, Stobox Compass would be the primary location for you to kick off from. And I will tell you why is this. We will start with something called RWA Screener, and for the clients, for the business clients, it's very important that they're tokenizing, but they're not tokenizing in any vacuum. So they're part of the market. They're part of, some bigger guys that like BlackRock and Franklin Samples and they tokenize cash in the form of stable coins or money making funds and bonds. So issuers want to see what ocean do they enter. And in order to provide that clarity, we build a separate part of the product that will gradually be evolving to a top analytics RWA screener. So we're using AI agents in order to find, segregate, enrich, and structure blockchain data with respect to all real-world assets in a form of catalog where I will show you again, where issuers can see their profiles, see their traction, see how many holders they have, what chains. So it's not something that alternative provides like RWA XYZ. They're more enterprise grade. It's something in between of DeFi Llama, if you're aware of this. But we, again, focusing mostly on the value for the issuer. The issuer has to know what ocean he is entering. That is why we create a WA screener as the catalog of tokenized asset around the world, and we are enriching this information on a daily basis. Now we have more than 200 assets screened, not thoroughly yet analyzed, but I'm sure within a short period of time, this functionality will be one of the top market products for analysis of real world assets for the issuers. The second part I would like to mention here, jurisdiction atlas. I don't want to go into the details, but a lot of issuers that come to us ask, what are the best jurisdictions? What are the pros and cons? What are the what if I open up a fund? What would be the best structure for that? So we allocated a special functionality that actually analyzes the existing regulatory frameworks and provides an assistance for for sophisticated users. What would be the best jurisdiction to choose, or what are the uh, regulations, and what are the pitfalls with pros and cons with specific jurisdictions. It's a very specific functionality, but if you're an issuer and you do it with thoughts, not just creating a token and want to go live, if you emphasizing on the jurisdiction and the taxes on that, this is a very important functionality for the business. I'm not going to comment on the tokenization use. That's something that our AI agents will analyze, and depending on the tastes of the user, subscriber, it will be able to wrap up different content and make sure you stay in touch, you stay in the market updated. So that's something that will be releasing quite shortly. Another interesting functionality is that upcoming STOs. So that's mostly not for the businesses, but also for the investors. By having upcoming STOs, I want to mention that we are an analytics and technology platform. We're not a broker dealer, so there's no ability to invest through Stobox Compass. Stobox Compass is not a broker dealer, it's not a financial advisor. We stream that information on the conditions as is, but our issuers, even before they tokenize, before they issue tokens, they are able to create their project. So again, I will show you how it's being done, and share this project with a group of investors, with a group of potential investors or people who are around, and already get some sort of feedback. So our goal is to tighten the process and make sure that our issuers, our businesses validate their tokenization cases even before they tokenize, before they spend. And we do know that some cases in tokenization may cost from $70,000 to $400,000 to wrap up. So for us, it's important to provide a clear, transparent methodology for the issuer. So if issuers are able to wrap up the project and share with investors on an early stage, even before the token minting, that can be done on Stobox Compass. The next part I would like to focus on, this is a very interesting functionality that will constantly be evolving. We developed based on the information and on the background knowledge, and we have spent more than 150,000 hours cumulatively on analysis of starting from 2018. This is one of our key metrics. We spent a lot of time, a lot of hours as a team to analyze securities frameworks, offerings frameworks, prospectuses, exemptions throughout the world, within the certain financial centers. And we have built our methodology that actually allows AI, artificial intelligence, to score the case. And that is open source. I will show you again. That's something that anyone can apply, and it's now on its first beta version, beta stage. So any business, and by the way, the RWA screeners, when I'm going to show you, are having every asset has a score. Um, a, B, C, something like Moody's. I want to emphasize here, we're not a scoring agency. We don't have any license to do scoring. This is why none of the score is being done by humans. This is a absolute transparent methodology that we commit to. Anyone in the world that has a GitHub and a bit of knowledge can fork this and apply it to their projects, to their issuers. If we like it, we're happy to embed this to ours. So we created this kind of community open source methodology for RWAs to to have a common grounds on what is good, what is complete, and what is not complete, what is the quality of the asset. So this is what we call an access methodology, and here we highlighted the business projects, and this is exactly what we'll be focusing today, because this is the major functionality around and for Stobox Compass. As any business, any tokenization case starts with with a single node, with a single paper, with a single environment from which the case can evolve. So Stobox Compass created that environment and make sure that issuers feel comfortable, and we as Stobox giving and providing different tools for the projects to evolve, but we also all the time we're on the background, and we're not just giving away this job to AI, but rather use AI for optimization and efficiency, and make sure that we stand at the background and as a team of professionals validate every single project that comes to us, that comes through us. But the project has a a distinct place to evolve, starting from a single node, ending up to live security tokens with brokers on the blockchains. So that was a brief modules explanation, but it's, as we say, it's better to see it once than to hear it 100 times. So let me here dive into the start going through a bit of functionalities. And one of the major ones is the readiness score. Why we emphasize on the readiness score? Because most of the businesses that want to tokenize do not consider every single element. And it's important to have a common grounds with the issuers, and it's important to speak the same language. So the readiness score is some subjective rating based on the methodology I've just mentioned to you, a subjective rating that actually rates the readiness of the business with respect to tokenization. And we apply different dimensions to that. So we ask through the readiness score, we ask about the legal structure, about the what is the jurisdiction fit, where the issuer would like to tokenize, what is the asset class, what type of investors and the offerings are looking for, whether or not they're ready with respect to the documentation which has to be prepared, technological readiness, and the compliance. So all of these vectors or dimensions, they create a complete picture for business to understand where they are with their cases. And this is a starting point. This is like a test or a diagnosis of the tokenization case, before we can repair anything, or before we can prescribe some some curement, we need to understand where we stand. So this is a very important element in the product, starting from the assessment. Where is our client? As it can be seen from the screen, there's a hundred excuse me, excuse me. Uh, the top score is 100. So obviously, by asking and answering different questions, we provide that score from which business is able to understand in what tier it qualifies, what are the gaps, what would be the starting point for their case. The next point I would like to here also focus on the documents that we prepared in a form of a roadmap, and you can see it from here. So it's not just a company that's being created, but it's term sheets, memorandums, different policies, board resolutions, and we, as the professionals, as Compass, as providers, we know it all. If we don't know something, we know exactly where to find it, and we would be the best go-to-market partner, because our job is to not to highlight the technology, but to highlight the readiness and the client's success. So our job is not to issue the next token. It's simple for us. We know it by heart. We've seen many cases, people launching different tokens that are of no interest to investors. So maybe this is not a very typical approach from a tokenization provider, but we love and respect our customers, and we want them to be happy, because when our customers are happy and their tokens and their securities are offered and successfully offered, then brings a vested interest and the success to us, to our products, and to what we do, what we bring in with our professional domain. Very important point I would like here to focus is that Stobox, we have made a decision. I kindly would ask Ross also to comment on this. We've made a decision to launch a side project, side company, which is called a Raisable AI. And it's an absolutely amazing initiative that I am a part of. I'm anticipating this. And basically, what I've just described to you from the readiness perspective, from the documents perspective, we are building an AI tool for any business to be able to create these documents, manage these documents with the help of AI. So we build a kind of LLM, the brains that are able not just to create the document, but rather kind of control all of the aspects, regulatory aspects, legal language, processual elements, and basically be a hub for business to create the required documentation for the project. Because let's be frank, creating a 38 documents from scratch is just a nightmare for a regular business. So in order to help here, we are launching something called Raisable AI. Please, Ross.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Let's be frank. When their private companies would like to tokenize their businesses, they want to fundraise. They want to reach capital. Uh, that's why we created Raisable, that can help to prepare with AI driven, all of the required documents that will be perfectly compliant and compatible with their broker dealers, that will help their issuers, the companies reach the capital in the biggest market in the world. It is United States. So Raisable, it is your gateway where you prepare all of the documentation through the AI that we embedded to be able to meet the requirements of the broker dealers and start your process of raising capital with licensed regulated providers like broker dealers, transfer agents, and then ATS for the secondary markets. So Raisable, it's this one window through which you can be prepared for this.
Yes, and I would like to mention that we are starting also a seed round for Raisable. We already assembled the core team for that, and we are working on this at the moment. The next slide. Yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. The 38 documents broker-dealer compliance package. So in order to offer your tokenized assets to the market of, for example, the United States, you can either do it from the exemption standpoint and do it yourself with the marketing instruments that you have, that a business has, or you can approach the qualified FIDRA qualified broker dealers. But having that said, there's certain requirements to do so. And usually businesses are not familiar with this requirement. So Raisable AI is the tool, along with Stobox Compass, that actually helps to create everything. So it's a very complementary product to Compass, because Compass gives the readiness score and provides the workflows, the structures, the management, where the Raisable AI is a pure documentation, creation, validation process, and this connecting to the broker dealers and validating the documents for them. 2 layers, 1 outcome. And again, whatever we do is focusing on the performance of the issuers, making sure that the process is straightforward, transparent. Issuers do understand what path they going on, where exactly they are on this path. We help issuers manage their projects, manage the expectations, not only, again, on the technology side, but as the general contractor or the general partner in the case of tokenization. Yes, Compass is not just about the documents, it's the full workspace that allows pre-sharing of the tokenization project, build a data room. And we, again, as I've already mentioned, we are at the background, helping and assisting our clients to do it, the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
let's move to something practical. That's why now we will do the live demo of the product of the Stobox Compass, so you have more better visual understanding how it looks like, what is the functionality, and how it can be valuable to your business right now. So I'm added the screen share
Yep.
to the stage, so we are live with this.
Yes, thank you. This is just a new account. I'm not going to show you some basic elements of the registration, but this is just a new account. And we have different tiers. So there's a free tier, business, enterprise tiers, and we are now having a business account. And by the way, it's very important that anyone can now register a free business account. It's a 7 days free subscription. The subscription is $199 a month that allow business to create the environment and to manage this documentation, manage the process here. It's the product is planned on a subscription basis, and we provide for the early birds, for the early customers, that 7 days free trial that are starting from today. So you can register now, apply for the 7 days trial, and if you don't find it useful, you can unsubscribe at any time. So let me move on. So we start with readiness score, and here I can show you that there's already several scores that we have tested here, and I will go through the score right now. So let's run a new check. Okay, so there'll be a list of 25 questions, and it will take us 5-7 minutes to answer them all. So I obviously we know all of the potential cases, but for the people who tokenize, this is the very important point, as again this gives the clarity for them and for the issuers and for us where we stand. So let's create a hypothetical case. What asset are you looking to tokenize? Let's put it on real estate. What is the approximate value of that asset? Let's put it from $2 to $10 million. How does the asset generate income, dividend? So is it already built hotel or apartment complex, commercial, or it's something that will be built? So let's put it not yet, projected in 12 months. So this is a future construction. What is the jurisdiction that we're targeting? And this is done primarily in order to find out whether our issuers understand exact framework or they need assistance, obviously, that we can help with. So which jurisdiction are you targeting? Multiple jurisdictions, let's put it this way. Do you have a legal counsel or with tokenization experience? No, not yet. Do you have a compliance officer? Some businesses don't even realize that they, at some point, they do need money, AML officer or MLRO officer. So we put it no compliance function in place. How developed is your investor pipeline? Most of the businesses come with some network, but no commitments. So let's
Exactly.
make that choice. What secondary market or exchange access do you plan for token holders? And most of the issuers are, frankly speaking, not sure. They don't even know that it's possible. What are the timelines? Everybody wants to do it as fast as possible. What is your technological readiness? And there's different, answers, but most of them don't have any technical resources. Has the asset been independently audited or appraised? And sometimes businesses don't even realize that this is an important factor. And some businesses have big four, like Ernst & Young or Morgan Stanley, Ernst & Young or KPMG, that audits. But most of the cases that come to us in general, they have no audit or plan to do it within some time. So let's put it plan. Our current ownership, how the current ownership is structured. Let's put it in a single company. What is the asset track record of performance? Does that bring cash? Does it bring yield? And we said this is not, it's not ready. It's not yet a full construction. So we're financing our real estate development here. So let's put it pre-revenue. What regulatory filings or exemptions are you using? Not many people understand what are these. So we say not sure. Are there any KYC and AML solutions? We put it not sure. Have you got a transfer agent or register for the security token? not many people understand when is that becomes a requirement, and it's only becoming a requirement on the secondary. So let's put it, no, not sure. We're 17 questions, 8 more to go. Who is your target investors? There's a different types of investors: institutional, family offices, accredited, retail. So we put it a mix, because most issuers have no idea what would be the best target, um, and how. So we put it as a mix. Do you have an investor relations or distribution strategy? Let's put it informal network. What is your marketing awareness of the budget? Sometimes issuers think that by tokenizing an asset, it automatically brings a heat and attention into their token. So you're just creating a token and all the investors just fight to get that. It's absolutely the opposite. So by creating a token, nothing happens. The world doesn't care if you have a token or not. So it's obviously a marketing budget has to be allocated along with this. But let's put it now, under 25K is the marketing budget. What token standards are you planning to use? Obviously, we as Stobox have developed our own technology for compliant for smart contracts compliant or transfers. Our STV3 protocol is based on the ERC 2535. I don't want to get into too much technical. I can speak on this on later webinars a lot, but for the sake of this questionnaire, let's put it platform specific, agnostic, so an issuer doesn't know. What custody solution are you planned for your digital assets? Again, sometimes clients do need custodians, especially if they deal with institutional investors. If they focus more on the retail part and it's a small business, the custody is obviously something which is bringing additional cost, additional complexity. Even though it's great for investors, investor protection, but we have to, that factor has to be evaluated among other factors. So it's not just standalone. So let's put it no custody yet. How will you manage your cap table shareholders? There's different ways. Now in companies like Carta, other platforms that provide cap table management can be used. Transfer agents have their own cap table systems. We, as a Stobox, providing our platform that already has a cap table management system inside, but we deliberately ask these questions because that gives us, an additional level of profoundness of the business. Maybe something that would like to, as an issuer, embed or bring something along. It's important for us as the project managers of tokenization to know. So let's put it, we haven't planned for this yet. What is the experience level of your core team in tokenization? Most companies are early stage, team is still forming. Yes, and I would like to mention here that I just recently had a call with a client, and he asked a good question: how many people, how many professionals do I need to run the tokenization case? In There's a misconception that a founder or CEO is capable of performing a tokenization case by himself. Unless you spent 8 years in this domain and qualified as a lawyer and financial holding some of financial license, it would be quite difficult for you to comprehend as a one person the full process. So on the issuer side, there should be a team allocated, people that are aware on the security side, on the technology side, on the financial side. Even though we provide most of the competence, it's important that issuer has a decision-making process on his behalf, on his company, because once we help our customers, do our job, they remain with their tokens, they remain with the post-tokenization services, with the compliance, with reporting, and somebody has to do it. So it's not tokenization is not the process where you tokenize and that's it. There's no more job. You just change the jobs. So what you have pre-tokenization work, you have tokenization, and after you tokenize, there's another set of processes that a company must perform in order to keep the asset live. So, do you have any advisory board? We put informal mentors or formal board. What is your competitive advantage versus traditional alternative? And this is a very tricky question for some of the issuers. Again, our job as doctors here is to understand how clients think. So let's put it this way. It's important, and I would also emphasize that no humans are approaching this information. There's no someone at the background massaging data. It's a purely AI driven. So now we will receive, it will take us some time, and we will receive a professionally crafted document that is based on our 8 years experience, 8 years of case scenarios, on, I don't want to call it perfect knowledge, but let's put it on the certain level of knowledge that our professionals put into the system, agentic system that we already call it. And just that simple process is able to save our customers from $10,000 to $25,000 and at least 4 to 6 months of work. Because before, what you're seeing now is an absolute transformation for the market in general. Because if you would engage a qualified provider, ask anyone on the market, go on Google, YouTube, find tokenization platforms, address those questions to them. They were going to quote you from 10 to 15 to $25,000, depending on the scale. And yet you will find it very difficult to bridge compliance, legal, technology, reporting, and the distribution aspects within one report. Lawyers going to speak about the legal part. The compliance managers will talk about the regulations and the AML. CTOs and technology are going to talk about the best standards, but it will take you time and it will take you substantial resources to receive a one single document from which you can start or make a decision whether or not you're going to start. Because not starting tokenization is also a good option, because it's much better option than spending 6 months of your life, $200,000 wasted on different platforms, different trips, a couple of lawyers, and you end up having a token that nobody wants. So this is the transformation we as a company bring to life, bring to the industry. As I say, this based on our methodology. It's not perfected. It's not yet a market standard, but that gives a clear picture, and it gives a solid foundation on the terms as is now. And for the $200, any business in the world can get something from which they can make further decisions. And again, not tokenizing is also a decision. And if a company goes towards tokenization, it will be much more provided, much more solid decision than just, I want a token, on which blockchain shall I go? So look, the answers that we've just made with you end up us being having a 34% score, and we're early stage business. So if we look at the report, we can send this report, we can save it as a PDF, and this report, starting from executive summary, goes through all of the important readiness elements. So this is the first product you just got. For first subscriber is going to get it for free, obviously, first 7 days free. But something like this costs $200 and saves tens of $1,000s and weeks, if not months, of work with different providers on a different level of complexity, including the execution artifacts, including the path with Stobox, and so on, so forth. So this is an amazing transformation that actually AI helps us um, to build, and we find this an amazing application of AI, because besides of creating, artificial memes and creating hype of I think our team is doing a great job by applying AI in a certain direction would actually help issuers um, with their cases and save time and money. You can regenerate this, you can start a new one, you can share this with your friends, and this is a good starting point. Ross, if you have any comments here, because I would like to move to the next section.
Let's move on. So I think that everything is clear that RWA Readiness Score provide this fair rating, fair scoring based on your data inputs, based on our access methodology that you can check it out, and the report that is generated. It is ready to implement. So it outlines what you have and what you need to do to move forward in tokenization. That's why we created the compass to be able to assess your project and understand what is the next steps and what you need to change to make it better. So please continue.
Yes, and actually, before we dive into the projects, I want to briefly go through the other functionalities, just to not focus and have more time dedicated on the projects. Here, as we mentioned, the jurisdiction atlas. So if you look here, you will be able to find the most jurisdiction from where tokenized securities are being issued. The primary jurisdictions, SPVs, offshore, free zones. If you take, for example, the United States, you would find out what are the legal constraints, what are the best practices. It's more for the legal teams or for the founders or the CEOs of the companies that are planning to tokenize. This is very specific information. It's not for just a general user, but it gives a business a clear understanding, what type of fastness can be offered in what jurisdictions, under which exemptions, and so on. So this is a very specific software, very specific tool for the sake of the issuers to be able to, leverage from here and not waste time and money on something that we already done. I would like to stop here a bit, and this is the methodology with the view on GitHub. Again, this is every single asset that we analyze and the system analyzes goes through this different weights or different domains. And depending whether it's institutional or real estate or the private business, there's a different composition of these elements. And it's not only for our issuers, but as I've mentioned to you before, we are. It's still underdeveloped. In development, we can see here, but we're bringing all of the RWAs that are present on chain for data that we can gather, and we may see that, for example, access scores. Some assets have higher scores, some have lower scores. So if we open an asset, we will be able to see the real-time data, the graphs, and the the strengths and the weaknesses of that specific asset. Uh, this is not only for the issuers, obviously, but this is also for the companies that actually issue those case to understand the perception, how AI treats them. Is it enough information on chain or in web to make sure that this information mm, mm, is complete? Because with you may create a token and then it lives on the blockchain, but if there's no information about the token, and we're entering the AI era, so how you want this asset to perform if there's no information about this asset? So it has to be accompanied by AI readable metadata about the last dividends, about what is the asset class, about the transparency, about who has the rights, who has not. So more information, more metadata is embedded in the asset or along with the asset. There's a better transparency and a better kind of data quality, because we will very soon, we're already witnessing that not humans analyzing this data, it's AI analyzing, and it has to have a certain grounds on what to analyze, not just the amount of holders or the frequency of transaction, but what is underneath. So and if yesterday most of the validation, asset validation, was done by humans, now entering AI era, and this has to be fed to AI. And this is also a part of our focus, because for our issuers and for our clients, we make sure that it's not only the blockchain part or the tokenization part that is done. All of the aspects that I'm describing and sharing with you would be a part of of agentic metadata that is able to kind of be shared within the internet, right? Within on chain and off chain. So if you get a pool asset that Stobox performs, the Stobox creates, this asset will have as much information as the client wanted to be. And this is very important for our kind of future agentic world that we're stepping in. So yes, this is exactly why we focus not on the manual quality, that's okay, but also on the agentic quality, making sure that every asset is enriched with data. And therefore we kind of analyze and build the analysis system to understand where those assets and how the asset perform now. For example, we have let's say we have ABN AMRO Digital. We know this is a supreme bank, right? ABN AMRO, and then green bonds. They're very qualified issuer, but somehow we don't have much of the information here. So it's not about us not being able to represent information because we don't touch it. It's about the company, the issuer, that still doesn't care about the metadata of the asset that they are creating. So it's very important, again, and we see this throughout our screener, because even the quality assets like Tether Gold, they have 36 as the score, which is a bit of absurd, but nevertheless, we don't massage any data. This is the data from Tether that is being scored 36. So our job is to highlight this and use this as the framework of scoring and making sure that our clients that go with us not only have this compass as the tool to tokenize, but throughout the process have the profound metadata as the digital tail for the asset. So when the asset is live, it has as high a score as possible, as more metadata enriched as possible, obviously for the sake of future agentic transactions, agentic search, and so on. This is kind of a marketing 2.0. So yes, and before I will go through the projects. I want to just um, emphasize on the last element before the project is that we will be, that we're running Stobox 4 as our enterprise grade tokenization platform. We've been developing it for more than 2.5 years. We have several issuers tokenized there, but we do believe that we have to go along with the technological changes and with the new technology that evolves. And this is why we will be applying new standards of the wallets. Um, if now we're using a MPC, multi-parity computation of wallets from the Fireblocks, now here we will be using smart wallets. So basically, no one is storing no one is storing private keys. It's like a smart wallet, it's like smart contracts. So our users will be able to create those within 2 clicks, just creating a wallet or the issuer creating a wallet. And this wallet will be already compatible with agentic elements. I'm not going to dive into details. If you want me, just write me and we will dedicate an additional webinar focusing on X 4.2 by Coinbase, the agentic protocols, the agentic distribution, the agentic tokenization, the agentic investments, and so on. So this software, the product that you see, will move into agentic direction, where at some point a user, an investor may just create a wallet, deposit the funds, and give the parameters of the certain offerings or the certain investment opportunities he would like to subscribe. The rest would be done by AI agents. So it's still in the alphas and betas and so on. We're still in development. It's a very new, still experimental niche, if I may say, but we definitely sure that this is a future of payments. Crypto and tokenization are made, and AI are made for each other. You cannot apply AI to non-tokenized asset, and when the asset is tokenized, it lives in a digital way, in a digital form. And having that said, you can apply agentic behavior to that asset in terms of distribution, dividends payment, allocation, and so on. So this is the direction where we're heading. And I would like to also mention that we have our Stobox token, Stobox utility token STBU, and it will be a part of the wallet infrastructure. I know that our webinar is being listened by members of our community. So STBU will be embedded not for issuers in general, but will be a part of the kind of blockchain part and the utility part, where on the functionality of wallets, agentic wallets, and so on. So this is something that we're preparing for you, and it will be live further down this year, obviously. So this is the system. And let me just focus on the last part. And again, most important part is the projects. Um, so any business with a business subscription is able to create a project. So let's create one. Starting a new project. Project starts usually by assigning it to a company. So we can create a company. Let's create a company called Webinar Stobox 1. We have a company, and let's put it that's structured in the US and has a LLC type of business. So we're creating a company. My plan allows me to create only one company. Okay, that's a limitation. So I have to upscale to the enterprise, which is fair, but therefore I will choose existing company, my Florida real estate company, and continue from here. Uh, webinar, project webinar. Okay, real estate, Miami 1, and some of the description. We're creating a project, and here you can start. Every project starts with a readiness score, as I've mentioned to you. So we have a readiness score as a separate, non-allocated to the project. So anything can be, go any non-projects you can start by creating a readiness score, right? This is not attached to the project. But if you create a project, it's gonna start with readiness score. I'm not gonna go through this again, but it's pulled our last readiness score that we did, 41. So what do we see? We see that we have a clear steps towards our launch, including KYB, including adding members, uploading documentation, reviewing the structures, tokenizing assets, and so on. So this is kind of a general steps towards tokenization. This is our readiness score. It's just pulled up here, so we know that our asset is attached to the project. We can change the answers, edit answers, and readjust, because issuers don't, we evolve, right? So we answer the questions and we change something, so that gives us an ability to kind of change the answers, provide more updated results, more updated answers, and actually reevaluate the score. I'm not going to do it now because it will take us another 6 minutes of calculations, but any readiness score can be readjusted by changing the certain answers. Roadmap. So this is also a part of the project part, and the roadmap in general gives our issuer a roadmap of certain activities that they have to perform, as I've already mentioned. So we have completed the assessment. We have spoken to Stobox and got our pre-qualification verdict. Some elements. So this is a general framework. So we don't expect our issuers to do everything themselves. We're still not at that level of neither the platform nor the comprehension of on the readiness of the issuers themselves. But this gives a solid background for us to start the dialogue and make sure that we, as the company, as the tokenization provider, focus on the certain elements and fixing the gaps that issuers have in order to have the better rating, in order to have a better chances of successful tokenization. So there's a plenty of elements that issuer may go through. Some of them will be compulsory, some of them are optional, but you have, as an issuer, you have a chance to go through this, ask questions. We are not fully live with the support, but we're also embedding an agentic support that would 24/7 quickly reply to you and make sure that you don't lose momentum if you want to work on your project anytime. Obviously, some minor elements like team, so you can add your team here. You can add more information about your company. licenses, registrations. So more information you as an issuer have here, better the look and the better is the readiness, over general readiness of your business. We have a data room. Obviously, this is for investors, so you can add all this information here, prospectus, business plans, and share it with your investors. And what we're doing now, you can actually share this project as let's put it as a public page. So imagine that something that you compile, you are able to apply design and publish, and even publish on your own domain. So you don't need a website. You don't need your own kind of. You don't work in Google Sheets, Google Docs, and you spend thousands of dollars on the web design, and then you have a data room with Carta, and then you have why you have this all. So this is Compass. You build everything here. You have this is something that will be live within very short period of time. We're talking about a couple of weeks. So apply your design, apply your corporate branding, and press publish, and your case will be published to the world before you actually spend a penny on tokenization. And if this is your case, your readiness, your team, your company, your licensing, your everything resonates with investors, you will see it here. You will see subscriptions, you will see some interest, and you can make a decision to go on the next stage of tokenization. So we shorten the path for our clients instead of listening to them and making them create these elements like websites and the marketing and so on by themselves. And then in 4 months' time, we come up with a platform link that they embed. Why don't we provide them with a full project management system facing to the public in the first place? And this, anyone, we will see the first traction here. We already have first clients onboarding, going through the pipelines, and very soon we will attach the functionality of going public on your domain with the multiple designs, so you don't even need to spend money on your website. This will be fully done here as the part of functionality. And the last and not least is the Stobox Copilot. This is the brains. This is the AI that actually knows your case. So all of the documents that are stored within the system, all of the information that was captured by the system is segregated, analyzed, and becoming a part of your case, of your project case. So think of this as you are having an AI working on your project A, project B, project C, and as a segregated mind machine, and you are able to starting a thread, asking a questions. What would be the best jurisdiction to tokenize real estate? Very broad question. Real estate. Again, this is still on the beta version. Jurisdiction is the wrong first up. Okay, let it finish. See, it answers me. Jurisdiction is the first question, is the wrong first question to optimize. The last question is where the issuing entity already sits. So see, it's not a generic It's based on the knowledge that Stobox gathered throughout the journey. It's based on the continuous evolution of this knowledge. We make sure that it's self-educatory. It's focused towards our issuer, towards you. And our job is to, again, to simplify the process, to make sure that our issuers don't um, spend a fortune on different providers, uh, get their questions answered. At least with these answers, you can validate those answers with different providers, with different legal or regulatory providers. But we have a grounds, you have something to start with, and you're something that you can evolve with, because this system is something that will be running by Starbucks and developing. Um, as we go, as we progress, because this system allows us to tokenize 1,000 cases, right? Not just single cases, because it takes time to speak, to comprehend, to advise, to build. With this type of scale, we may be, talking now, and at the same time, there can be 10 issuers now talking to AI and building their cases and sharing their cases with their community, with the globe.
Mhm.
So,
So,
um,
so, so
yes,
to
please,
sum
Ross.
up, to sum up, what is their functionality for of the Stobox Compass? So, first of all, it is the readiness score where you can assess your project. It is my project section where you can manage, create your project, store and create your data room. Ask their copilot certain questions about your developments. It is their jurisdictional atlas where you can find a lot of valuable information of what jurisdictions fit better in your case. And soon we will introduce our partners that can help you to set up it. It is RWA screener, so consider it, it's like a coin market cap for RWA and tokenization. And soon we will introduce their wallets as a new level of sophistication, where you will be able to pass KYB and actually start your technical tokenization journey.
Absolutely. I know we're a bit of running of time, and it's talk a lot about this, so we should respect this. So, Ross, I kindly ask you to go back to our
Mhm.
presentation and just go. By the way, we are planning to host webinars every Tuesday, same time. You can go on the Starbucks on the Compass and look for the webinars, register for the webinars. The next webinar will be done with
Integra.
our partner Integra, RWA blockchain. So, and these webinars are obviously recorded, so you can watch them on YouTube, rewatch them, ask questions, and so on. We're very open. Our goal is to, bring this live, bring this to the market, and bring benefits to the issuers and to the investors. So let's
Mhm.
move to the next chapters, and I would just like to briefly speak about the broker dealers that we're bringing on board.
Mhm.
Um, yes, so we um, it's important as one of the problems that we see in the market, as I've mentioned in the beginning, is the distribution, and the distribution of the tokenized assets primarily, unless they are tokenized cash like stable coins or commodity tokens, most of the RWAs will be qualified as securities. And when we say securities, we do understand that it's a very regulated environment. And in any, in the most financial centers, you take, from east, from the Hong Kong, Singapore, you're going down to the west. I'm talking about London, Europe, obviously, with ESMA regulator and the prospectus directive, and then we move along to United States. We do understand that it's also a very regulated space of tokenized of securities. So the distribution of security is not something that you can just simply go on the Binance or paying millions of dollars or Gate.io, or we're not talking about the exchanges, but we talk about the proper onboarding of the broker dealers, FINRA regulated broker dealers, and we bring them as a part of our value chain, as a part of the process within the Stobox, and our issuers would be able and are able to define the project, create the profile, asset structure, jurisdiction, as I've shown you, everything like this. And then we have a list of broker dealers that will be soon available here in Compass, but we have already signed partnership agreements with 3 broker dealers, and this list will be just expanding. So you as an issuer are able to send your documents to the broker dealer, engage with the broker dealer, get a quote from the broker dealer. Here we says a compliance pack. Use Raisable AI to assist you with document preparation, or do it yourself with your legal team, with your financial team. Prepare all the documents, and obviously Compass and we as a Stobox will do the introduction to the broker dealer, and that will ensure the the smooth distribution of your tokenized assets without the biggest market of securities, and actually the most established market of securities. If I'm not mistaken, there are more than 30 million accredited investors in the United States, 30 million accredited, and when you choose exemption Reg D, for example, 506C exemption, that's targeting accredited investors with as minimum as $5,000 ticket. You actually tapping into a large pool of sophisticated investors that would look at your company, look at your ratings, look at your business model, and make a profound decision. But this is exactly how it should be, and this is exactly how it's supposed to be in the market of securities. So this is something that we are building along. We already have this contact. So if you are, again, we are anticipating you and waiting for your projects to onboard. Once we assist them with the with the general score and make you ready for the broker dealers, it's in our best interest to make that introduction. By that time, we may be having more broker dealers. So we're going to expand our network of the distribution. We're going to host webinars with broker dealers. We're going to expose criteria for the broker dealers. So we're building a transparent system from an idea to the distribution throughout all of the partners stack on Stobox Compass. Yes, and this is what I've just briefly explained. Yes, please, Ross.
Exactly. Let me help you to finalize this part of the presentation, because I know that we run out of time a bit, so I will help you to move it forward.
That's okay.
So exactly. So through our internal processes, their roadmap looks the following: that first of all, it goes to the readiness score that we showed you through the demo. Then it is structure lock. So it is the creation of their SPV. It is defining your regulatory path and so on. Then it is their documentation preparation through the Raisable. Imagine it is our AI-driven system where you prepare all required documentation required by the broker dealer to start targeting US investors and reach US capital through their license providers like broker dealers. So then after their preparational mode and preparational side through the raisable goes their introduction to the broker dealers itself with your prepared information from the raisable, and then you go live with the broker dealer and get your first capital. So on average, it takes 11 weeks. And their costs, because of their AI, because of the Stobox expertise, because of the efficiency, going down from 150K to actually like 10, 20K that you need to spend to start fundraising together with the broker dealers through their technology and through their Stobox Compass, through the raisable, through the lawyers' fees, etc. That I think that extremely valuable in current market conditions. So to sum up, from their idea to capital, it will take you 11 weeks, and it is the structured, simplified roadmap, your roadmap journey, how from zero you can create a one. And this is possible through their Stobox Compass and through their Raisable. So our approach, it is subscription based. It is what I mentioned a few seconds before. So if you go standalone and engage separately, there are consultancy guys, the technical guys, broker dealers, documents preparation by those firm, validation, project management, you will spend from 80 to 150K. That is a lot. That's why through the Compass and through the subscription, we simplify it to their like basically to $100 subscription, where you'll be able to build it. The same subscription-based business model it is in their in the raisable product. So it's very streamlined, very straightforward, very simplified, where you can take the value from it, create your project, and be ready to start raising capital worldwide through the accredited investors, through the Reg D or Reg CF. Depends on their your SPV decision and your regulation. That's why once again it is subscription based, and honestly it is pennies that will allows you to move your business on a completely different level with completely different professionalism. So for all of our early birds, for all of our first users, we give 7 days free, so full access to the projects. So follow app.stobox.io to create your to register and create your project and process with their readiness score. And for all of our listeners, for all of the first businesses, we will give you a 7 days free accounts where you'll be able to run your readiness score, generate your documents, your reports, and then be introduced to the broker dealers that we explained before. And what are our next steps and what is our next milestones within this product, Stobox Compass? As we discussed, it will be their wallets and it will be their tokenization model. So after the readiness score, after creating your project, after preparation through the raisable, after you launch with the broker dealers, in parallel, you'll be able to have your access to their DeFi wallets that will be embedded to the Stobox Compass, and we will unlock their tokenization functionality through their our product, through our protocols, through DAD, through different other protocols, their ability to tokenize your equity, to tokenize your bonds, any other financial instruments, and start leveraging the tokenization. But let's be frank, their priority number one for any businesses now, it is to fundraise. That's why our preliminary focus it is to help you to unlock the fundraising through their broker dealers for your own business. That's why in parallel we work on their wallets and tokenization that will be available in couple of weeks, in couple of months, and we will dedicate other webinar to streamline those functionalities. But it will be created and deployed soon. We are working on it. So as Jin mentioned, that we are opening a seed round for both of their Stobox and for their Raisable. So if you want to participate in our growth, and if you would like to have their investors deck, request to the rs.stobox.io, and we will reply to you. But now we are open the fundraising to provide the opportunity for the community, for the investors to join their world-class products that we're developing and leverage it and develop it and move it forward together with us, together with our team. So start tonight. um, there are companies that tokenize successfully this year, and start your 7-day free trial. Register on Stobox.io/register. It is our Stobox Compass product, and start building your own successful RWA case.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Ross. Yes, I mean, this it's never been as easy as now. It's never have been as affordable as now to give it a try. So, to test the waters, to give yourself a chance, to see where you are in this and whether or not it fits your business needs. First of all, so feel free to use the product. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to give advice. We are not building it for ourselves. We're building it for you. We're building it for the issuers. We're built for the industry. We benefit from the results, not from the picture. So we want this product for your success. And if you can assist us by maybe saying what's good, what's still missing, what are you require, what are the questions, anything that makes us think and come back to you with a solution, would be of the primary focus to us, because this is not that we build something for Ross or for myself or for our team, but to build it for you. So this is important, customer development. So help us build the product better. We're not taking this about ourselves. That's why we open our rounds that will be available also through the broker dealers in United States. We never fundraised in a traditional form. We never closed any rounds with VCs and so on. So we're a self-financed company, and we are happy to accept visionaries, any people who believe in what we're doing on board, and continue building transparent systems and systems that bring value, especially in today dynamic world where everything changes, where AI becoming a primitive. So that's why we transform everything and make sure that we adapt to the best technological curve, with this, with the best intentions, with the best products, focusing on our domain. And register, start your case, and stay with us. We will be conducting our next webinar next Tuesday. So please, again, go to Stobox.io, register, look at our webinars. Next week will be with the blockchain, with the blockchain company, and then following up. So stay with us, join Stobox Compass, show the interest if you'd like to participate in our rounds, and yes, and give yourself a chance. I'm sure we'll be seeing more businesses tokenizing, and our job is to make it happen not only for the big guys, Black Rocks and Marine Samples, and then all this, supreme big financial institutions, but to bring it live for a small medium enterprise. And I'm sure with the strategy that we render, and with the costing that will go down, and we already saved a lot of costs by implementing what we did. It will becoming more and more affordable and
Mhm.
more global. So this is our main objective.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you, dear listeners. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Art of Success. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your time that you dedicated for this webinar, and have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.